Welcome to Coffee with Temecula's Mayor Kalfus. Let's get started.
Mayor Kalfus, could you please specify where Temecula plans to allocate housing in accordance with the requirements set forth by California's state housing laws?
Thank you all for having me here today. This is the largest coffee mayor I've had as a CEO. How we're going to keep a small town feel in Temecula. To be honest, there's only a few plots of land that the city owns that we have left. And with those plots of land, we essentially have, they're called RHNA numbers, regional housing numbers, and they come down from the state. So we have a certain amount of units that we have to approve to be built. And so it becomes difficult when California says that we need more housing, when you have cities like Temecula that is just already overburdened with traffic. And we have what I would say is a lot of housing for people that are already here. So it's hard to balance the supply versus the demand, because everyone wants to be in Temecula, right? But there's also a lack of infrastructure to support the amount of people that want to be here. So that's probably the hardest thing that we're dealing with at the city level, is in those plots of land, where do we put the housing that we are required to have through the state law? Because to be honest, a lot of the housing that we have now, it's like, hey, can we just put a stop on it? Besides, everyone loves a single-family home zones, right? But California wants units, and when you build all out horizontally, California's going to say, hey, we need out there. We do have housing development going on the south side of Temecula. You have was originally debated whether it was Paloma or Paseo del Sol, but 1998. There's 164 homes going up that corner of Temecula Parkway, Butterfield Stage. So 164, you have 1,000 plus homes going in behind Old Town, the Altair development. We have an RFP out off Winchester and Jefferson, right up if you're heading southbound on the 15 to get up on French Valley. Right there at that corner, there's going to be another little low-income apartment complex going in there. But we have housing spread out through Temecula, but one of the most important things is that we keep Temecula the city that we all know and love, because there truly was a master plan community. I mean, you look at all the neighborhoods, right? You look at Crown Hill, Paseo, Paloma, Harveston, all these neighborhoods were all master planned for a certain demographic and a certain amount of people to be there. And what the state is doing is just saying, hey, we need more housing. But it's like, we planned Temecula, well, not we, but the individuals that were on council and on city staff long before I was, they planned Temecula to be a certain way. And a lot of the housing laws that are coming down is trying to diminish what Temecula has done. So it's a hard battle. But my whole thing is that whether we agree or disagree with more housing development, we have to have the infrastructure to support it. So if you're going to mandate housing, you also have to give us the funding to improve our roads, to widen our freeways, and to widen our roads. Which they're not. So we're saying, hey, housing, and then it gets bigger. So it's a battle, all the time.
Mayor, could you please explain how the city of Temecula supports its veteran community?
I think the best thing that the city can do is partner with great companies, private companies, like you, and like other veteran, like Bill had this here. Partner with them who really know, they're the experts in the veteran community, and we can partner with them to reach out to the veterans that we need. But we do little things, we put on a veterans breakfast and stuff like that to bring the community in. But I think the most important thing that any government can do in any level is that they should partner with local private entities to really understand what's going on in that specific community, because we may not know.
Mayor, in your opinion, what steps can the city of Temecula take to better support small businesses?
The biggest thing that we can do as a city of Temecula, but any government agency, is less red tape to make that business right. Right. So in Temecula, for instance, for small businesses, we had a big debate at the council level on alcohol sales. That was 2 years ago, and I don't want to get too much in the weeds, but essentially we have conditional use permits, and the conditional use permits go with the buildings, and the buildings are able to say that conditional use permit that goes with that building has the time frame that you can sell alcohol to. So a lot of people think that's the particular business that has the alcohol sales time, is the CUP, that conditional use permit that goes with the building, not the business. The business will inherit the CUP that's buildings in. So anyways, we debated on alcohol sales. And there's 16 or 17 businesses in Old Town that are grandfathered into an old policy that says they can sell alcohol until 2 a.m. My colleagues, I was one that voted against keeping the grandfathered policy in place for new businesses. But my idea was, hey, whether we agree or disagree with 2 a.m. alcohol sales, that is the old standard that we cannot change, so any new business should have the same opportunity as the old businesses coming in. This thing is, I think that as a government entity, agency, what we can do is the least amount of rules, and we can balance safety with our constituents, but also allowing businesses to thrive and have as much profit as we can. So currently, any new business that operates in Old Town, you cannot sell alcohol past, midnight, but those 16, 17 buildings in Old Town, they still have the opportunity
Mayor, how can we address and resolve issues related to city policies, such as the placement of open house signs by realtors?
What we need to do, in all actuality, is just have a real sit down. You know, there's so much, like, I try to comment on social media, but like nothing ever gets solved on social media. We need that. We just need to have a sit down with a big group like this. I wish we had more time, so we could probably create some sort of policy I can bring to my colleagues. But we just need to have a sit down and figure out the sign policy.
Mayor, how is the city currently addressing the regulation and enforcement of e-bike laws?
Ordinances in place. We have, the class 1, class 2, class 3. We have the rules of the road. We just partnered with Temecula Unified School District, so they have to, if you drive your e-bike on campus, it's a whole e-bike registration. So when you roll up, you have to have an e-bike registration sticker on your e-bike. In order to get that sticker, you have to take a whole rules of the road 45-minute course. There's videos from our police chief, from our fire chief, and myself on that. That's hopefully educating the kids on the use of e-bikes and the rules of the road before they get their registration sticker.
Mayor, could you provide an update on the progress of the bike trail development in Temecula?
Right now, we're probably in the city of Temecula, maybe like 75% done. We have a lot of bike trails all around the city. For me, what I really want to focus on, and again, I'm not the cyclist, so whenever I make a decision for any particular community, I always try to talk to that community to see how it affects them. The cycling one is hard for me because I have no idea what the data is. I don't know how many cyclists there are in Temecula, and we put tens of millions of dollars into building these beautiful bike paths. When I say, okay, at what point, for instance, like we need parking in Old Town, we need a $50 million parking structure. At what point do we say, are there more patrons visiting Old Town and we need to focus on that $50 million towards a parking structure, or do we keep putting tens of millions of dollars into our bike path? I really don't know the answer to that because I don't have the statistic. But to answer your question, I'd say it's about 70 to 80% done. It's going to be a whole loop around the city of Temecula that will eventually connect to the wine country.
Mayor, is the city of Temecula considering rezoning certain commercial areas to residential in order to comply with state housing mandates?
Mandating housing. Right. When you have someone like Temecula, it's like we only have so much land available, we have to start getting, we have to figure out how to change commercial into residential. You just have to, there's nowhere else to put these homes. And then essentially it's pretty draconian, but say, kind of off topic, but say the city of Temecula, everyone's like, hey, what if you just say no to the state, right? Say we're not building any more housing, we don't have the infrastructure. At the end of it, it's called HCD, Housing Community Districts. They can essentially, if you say we're not building, we're not approving more housing, they can not sign off on your housing element, and then at the end of the day, HCD can come in and essentially become your planning commission and put the housing in. So it's like from our seat, it's like, well, do we put it where we think it'll best fit Temecula, or do we say no, we waste tens of millions on lawsuits with the state, lose those lawsuits that the cities have already lost at 100 each, and then they just come in and put the housing where they want. So it's it's like, and HCD is an unelected, bureaucratic group, so it's an interesting dynamic that we're in the state of California. It's like, I agree that there is a lack of housing. I think housing would help out. There's also areas with vast land compared to Temecula.
Mayor, could you please explain what the Golden Triangle refers to, and whether the city of Temecula is included within this area?
News recently, it looks like there's a project that's moving forward.
A high-end
Golden
project.
Triangle. Let's put the Golden Triangle.
Let's all do that. So that's I heard a rumor that it's going to be topped off and a whole development around that, but that hasn't been confirmed or denied. So that's all here yet. That's kind of keeping it
Thank you for taking the time to join us for coffee.
Contact Realtors Scott and Caroline Doan to buy or sell a home. They can be reached at 951-541-3498. Thank you for watching.